I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Okay.
All right. So the next one that we're going to do is ankle dorsiflexion. Okay. So this one we're going to do one at a time. Okay. So we'll start with the foot opposite of the chair and just go ahead and pull the toes up towards the knee. Pulling the ankle up as much as you can, trying to keep the knee straight. And you're going to focus on these muscles on the front of your shin. And now, Dee, as I was explaining to Sue and Cindy the other day, each time you pull your joint into its maximal range of motion, you're helping to really strengthen that communication with the muscle and helping to improve range of motion, flexibility, and helping to keep it over time. Okay. So then we're going to go into the opposite foot. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, pulling the toes and the ankle up. Okay, trying to keep the knee locked. Heel is just gently resting on the floor. And you should be feeling this right on the shin. Okay. And relax. Okay, the next one is knee extension. Okay, and Dee, I know that you've had a knee replacement. This is a very important exercise to be doing. This helps to activate the weight-bearing muscles of your thighs. So what we're going to do is we're just going to focus on locking our knees. Okay, so just trying to straighten your knees as much as you can, tensing the thigh muscles as you do it. Okay, and we're just going to hold that, do both sides at the same time, keeping the feet flat. One of the easiest exercises you'll probably ever be prescribed. Okay, and relax. Okay, so now we're going to use the chair as a stabilizer. Okay, we're going to take one leg, bend the knee as much as you can. Now, Dee, you're going to have one knee not go as far probably because of the knee replacement. That's to be expected. Okay, but you're just going to want to try to bend the knee as much as you can, focusing on the muscles on the back of the thigh. Okay, those are your hamstrings. You're also going to probably feel a little bit of a stretch on the front of the thigh. Okay, not uncommon for your leg to shake either, because this is a pretty weak position for the muscle. Okay, now we're going to switch to the other leg. And what I told the gals the other day as well is if one side feels a lot different than the other, like you just don't move as far, or it feels a lot weaker on one side, just kind of make a mental note of that. Okay. All right, so that completes our lower leg exercise.
So now I'm going to adjust this a little bit.
Okay. All right, so you can see my legs okay, right?
Cindy's trying to get in, Chris, not to interrupt. Cindy said she's waiting for you to let her in.
Oh, okay.
She just,
Oh, there she is. Okay.
she got messed up with the time difference.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
Looks like she's connecting there. So, all right, so for this one, okay, this is our hip abduction exercise. We're going to bring our leg out as far as we can to the side. Okay, you can slightly tilt a little bit to the opposite side just to get a little more range of motion, but you're mostly just focusing on trying to lift the leg up as high as you can, focusing on the muscles on the outside of the hip. Okay, we're going to bring that down. Okay, and then switch this like this. Okay, then you're going to go opposite. I think Cindy's with us now. Cindy, can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Awesome. Hey, welcome.
I was off by an hour.
That's oh yeah, you're on Central Time now.
Yeah, I was thinking I had planned on 4:30, but yeah, it needed to be 3:30.
No worries, no worries. All right, and go ahead and bring the leg back in. All right, so that is our hip abduction exercise. Okay, so now we're going to do hip extension. Okay, so now that means we're going to take the leg back behind our body. Okay, trying to keep the knee relatively straight. You can lean into it just a little bit. Not too much though, because you really just want to focus on just bringing the leg back at the hip joint, not necessarily bending at the waist. Other leg is going to stay relatively straight. Foot's going to stay planted on the floor, focusing on the glute muscle right back there. Okay. Bring the leg in. Okay. Same thing on the other leg. And D, what I was mentioning also to the gals the other day is over time, it's very common to lose range of motion. That's why you see people as they age take shorter steps, not have as broad of movements oftentimes. And this helps to eliminate a lot of those normal effects of aging because you increase and maintain your body's range of motion so much that your body never feels it has to limit those movements.
Can you
So that
explain,
is-
Chris, can you explain the short muscle, long muscle that you explained to us, to D? How we're using the short muscle?
Yeah, so we'll use this next one as an example. So this one is hip flexion. So this probably looks similar to a stretch that you guys have learned at some point in your life, right? That like you put your leg on something and you kind of lean into it, you try to stretch the muscles on the back of your leg. Well, this is actually using the muscles on the opposite side. Those muscles are getting shorter, they're pulling together. And then these muscles are stretching or getting longer. So you're actually getting a stretching and a strengthening benefit from this without the risk of putting your joint in a compromising position by forcing it with a chair or with your hand or something else. So we're going to go opposite. Okay, and same thing, we're just going to try to keep the knee relatively straight, focusing on the front of the thigh and in the groin area. And like I said, you'll feel a little bit of a stretch in the back of the leg as well. And we're trying to keep the standing leg pretty straight while we do this. All right, rest. All right, so the next one is a hip hike. So this bone right here, okay, is going to be drawn up towards the rib. You guys see me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this bone right here is going to be drawn up to the rib. So I would recommend that you put the chair either in front of you or on the opposite side of the side that you're doing. And you're just going to try to draw that hip up towards the rib. And that's going to cause these muscles on your side to activate. And you're just going to want to squeeze those muscles and hold that position of your pelvis. Now, if you have any kind of back aches or pains or anything, just be a little cautious with this one. If it irritates anything, you know, you can back off, but just hold it there. Try to squeeze those muscles. Try to get the bone up as far as it'll go. Okay. Other side. Same thing, drawing that bone up. And again, just try to keep the standing leg relatively straight. You'll also feel your shoulder on the same side kind of dip down towards the hip. That's a result of your spine, your whole spine actually bending in that direction. Totally fine and wanted. So you can just let that happen. Okay, squeeze in there. And relax. Well, I feel a little warmer doing this in pants than I did in shorts the other day. So actually a little bit of a workout. So, so for this one, okay, we're going to have feet hip width apart, okay? And then we're going to do what's called a side bend to one side. And then we're going to push into our leg with the same side hand. Okay, and I want you to push pretty firmly because that's going to create some resistance and allow for the muscles here to activate. Okay, and then that'll create a little bit of a stretch going on the other side. And you don't want to be so bent over that like You might fall if you let go. Just bent over slightly, pushing in nice and firm, just enough to get a good strong squeeze on those muscles there. Okay. Then we're going to do it to the opposite side. Okay, bending, pushing, squeezing. Now, one of the major benefits of doing this is it really helps to build what's called the mind-muscle connection. Now, your mind-muscle connection is more of a conscious thing, where you can actually recruit the muscles purposely. That's a really important thing, especially for exercising. It helps make sure that you use the right stuff when you do workouts or other physical activities. It also really helps to build joint health over time. Okay. So that's our side bend. So the next one is a standing rotation. Okay, so we're going to have the feet hip width apart again. Knees are going to try to stay straight. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to initiate this motion through the hips, rotating the hips all the way to one side. And what you're going to try to do is try to keep your feet relatively flat. The arch on one side is going to raise, the arch on the other side is going to collapse. But you want to try to keep your toes down. Try not to roll out to the outside of your foot or the inside of your foot, depending on which side you're talking about. And you're just going to rotate your whole body. Try to get the hips over, try to get the shoulders over, turn your head, and just, you know, gently kind of nudge yourself further in that direction as you hold it. You don't really have any resistance here per se, but we're just going to try to kind of squeeze some muscles while we're here. You should feel this pretty much up your leg, through your trunk a little bit. Okay. Then we're going to go opposite. Okay. Same thing again. Just try to lead through the hips. Try to get as much of a turn through the hips and the trunk as you can. Trying to keep the feet flat. And one thing that helps me is to kind of push down with the big toes. That kind of helps keep the foot firmly on the floor. And it gives you a nice stable base to twist off of. Okay, so that's our standing rotation. So then the next one is going to be for the upper body. You're going to go right into the shoulders. So let me adjust this a little bit. All right. So this first one is called shoulder abduction. Okay, your feet are going to be hip width apart. Your back's going to be nice and straight. Head is up, chest is up, and you're going to just bring the arms up and in towards your head. And what you're thinking about is trying to bring your biceps towards your head rather than your hands together. Because I could do this and not get full range of motion at my shoulder, right? So I want to try to bring the biceps in towards my head so that my shoulders really have to move far and work hard. Okay, so I'm just going to hold that. This we're going to feel kind of more in the collarbone / upper shoulder area. Okay, and bring them down. Okay, I'll turn to this side for this next one. This is called shoulder flexion. Okay, we're going to take both arms and we're going to bring them up this way. Okay, we're going to keep a little bit of an arch in our back and just try to pull the arms back as much as we can, trying to keep them relatively close to the head, okay, just so that we're not going way out wide, so that we're staying more kind of in line with the body. Okay. Holding that. This one you should be feeling kind of on the back of the shoulders and down into the shoulder blades. Right, rest. All right, the next one, okay, is shoulder horizontal abduction. Okay, so this one, okay, we're gonna do one at a time. Okay, you're gonna try to keep your torso still, and you're just gonna pull the arm back as far as you can. Okay, trying to not rotate your trunk. Try to really focus on the shoulder. You should feel this kind of in the back of the deltoid and all along the shoulder blade. Okay, good squeeze there. And you might feel some stretching going on here. This is one that that is really, really important to do because this helps to offset some of the effects of gravity. Gravity wants to pull us in like this, and this helps to open up our shoulder and protect some of that mobility. Okay, now we're going to the opposite side. Okay, keeping the trunk still, not rotating at the hips, pulling the arm back, and just trying to squeeze those muscles on the shoulder blade. And what you might find in some of these is as you hold it for a bit, like what just happened with me, is that you can actually move it a little further after a few seconds. That's a normal thing, so kind of experiment with that a little bit. You'll probably reach a point within the 15-20 seconds that is pretty much your maximum range. So then this one is shoulder horizontal adduction. So I'll show you this way. Okay, so you're going to keep the elbow relatively straight, trunk still. You're going to reach all the way across your body. For this one, we're going to take the opposite hand and we're going to put it on the inside of the arm, kind of right on the elbow pit. And we're going to just push the one arm into the hand. And that's going to cause these muscles up here to activate. Okay? And again, you might notice, like with what just happened with me, that you might get a little more range as you keep holding it. So you can kind of play with that a little bit. Okay. We're going to go opposite. Okay. Arm all the way over, hand on the elbow pit, pushing into the hand, activating the chest and the shoulder muscles. Relax. Good. Now, the next ones are rotations. So we're going to do these together. Okay. So first one, shoulder external rotation, also known as the don't shoot. So what you're doing is you're going to just rotate your arms back, trying to get your hands back behind you as far as you can. And once you get your hands back, try to pull your elbows back. So you're really trying to open up that chest, trying to activate the muscles on the back of the shoulder and all along the shoulder blades. And again, this is another good one to do really often because this also helps offset those effects of gravity. Okay. Now this one, okay, is going to be the exact opposite. We're going to internally rotate, and we're going to try to keep our shoulders up, elbows up, and just try to kind of bring the hands up here. Yeah. Okay, really trying to maximize the range of motion of the shoulders. In this one, you'll feel a little bit up here as well as in here. Okay, and relax. Okay, so now we've got 3 more to go. We're doing great on time. And these are for our neck. Okay, so you want to be really cautious with these, really gentle with these. You know, you don't have to pull as far forward or as far back as you possibly can. Just sort of feel it out, see what's comfortable. We're going to start with cervical flexion. Okay, so we're going to kind of tilt our head forward. We're going to open up our hands. We're going to push into the forehead. We're going to push the head into the hands. Now you should try to push hard enough to be able to feel a little something happening on the front of the neck. It's not uncommon though to feel this mostly on the back of the neck though to start with, because typically those front muscles of the neck are very underworked. And so there's just not a lot of connectivity between those and the brain. So it's hard to feel them sometimes when you first start to. And the next one, cervical extension. Okay, so we're not going to go all the way back. We're just going to kind of tilt the chin up, going to come back in that don't shoot position, but this time we're going to bring the hands in towards the head, place them on the back of the head. This kind of reminds me of being in a hammock. So you're going to kind of arch the back, chin up, chest up, pushing the head back into the hands, and you should feel that a little bit through the shoulders, but mostly through the back of the neck. And we're just going to hold that and relax. Okay. And so the last one that we're going to do is cervical rotation. We're going to keep our whole body still, shoulders in place, and turn the head all the way to one side. Once you get there, just sort of give yourself a gentle nudge further in that direction. Okay. Just hold that there. This one you'll kind of feel in multiple places around the neck. Okay. And then to the other side. Hold that there. Now, one thing we didn't really talk about much today or the other day is a breathing pattern. It's good to take big, deep breaths in and blow out very vigorously as well. The exhales is often something that's not emphasized enough in exercise class. You want to take a deep breath in, and you want to breathe out big as well. All right, so those are the 19 exercises of the body activation class. And I still have about 2 minutes to spare here before I have to run to my next session. Do you all have any questions about anything there?
I can make a copy of what you sent us, Chris, and give it to Dee.
Okay, yeah, and I'll have a recording of this session as well, so.
Okay, okay.
we'll
And
figure out
will we
how to
be-
get that to you.
Will we be doing these same exercises throughout the course of this, or do you?